Okay, this is the next installment of the original series 1701 USS Enterprise. I just wanted to give you a update. Before I button this thing up, I wanted to show you what I did with the electronics and the lighting. I did the standard kit that came with the model. I also did a little thing I learned from the first Enterprise build I saw on a YouTube video by HeliPilot27. He did a chaser circuit I showed you in one of my previous videos. Well, I took and I made my own a little bit smaller, same configuration. I just made it a little bit smaller, that way it fits a little more compact. The original one is quite long. To give you an idea, it's in relation to these two, it's this long as opposed to the one that I have. So I made it to where a lot more compact so I could fit it up in here, and that's it right there. I got this held up on a stand. I wanted to just be able to see. I know the light gives a lot of light wash, but these are the little flat LED strips. There's 3 of them inside. These 3 shine on the other side of the hull, and on the inside of that you have 3 that shine back, so that when you button these up, the windows shine really brilliantly. You also got a little blinking light there on the side. It's really been a really good lighting kit. As long as I used like hot glue to seal these things in. These end contacts have a tendency to come loose. It was real important for me to secure those with the hot glue, or they would definitely begin to, sometimes they'd work, sometimes they wouldn't. My shuttle bay, I did make one mistake. I've got the outer shuttle bay, I put a little bit of reflective tape on there, but they say not to paint the outside of that so that the lighting kit will shine through. But when I first painted the shuttle bay, I did the primer like they said, did the paint like the instructions showed, but the light came through so bad that when you looked up in there, you could see through the paint, see all the light, and it just really did not give a good look. So I had to go back and paint it black so that the light wouldn't shine through the sides. I do believe when I get this all buttoned up that these lights here will provide more light and you'll be able to see it. And I may run a separate bulb right up in here. There's 3 little windows in the very back. If you look up in there, I'm going to try to hold this while I zoom in, so I can do all this together. As you can see, I got a couple of figures of some crewmen up in there in the very back. And then of course I've got those, running lights in there. I'm doing this with a cell phone. Makes it very difficult. I know there's a lot of light leaks up in here. However, I don't have it just mounted. I've just got it kind of set up in there just so I could show you. It's really important that you put all this stuff together and try it before you button it up, because when you button it up and it doesn't work, you're proverbially, I don't know how to say that, screwed. Previous video I did show you the bridge, and you can see the viewing screen up in there. All of the lights work really good, the blinking lights, the navigation lights, all that works really good. I don't have the dome in there yet, but that'll be next. I don't have the decals on. Like I said, I really just wanted to do the assemblies and make sure that all of the lighting worked. You kind of see how those things flash. That really gives a cool effect. I don't have a whole lot more to show you. Let me turn this off. Maybe I can have enough light you can kind of see the wiring that goes. The lights won't wash it out, and you can kind of see all of the wiring that I did. Tying those fiber optics, I just used several pieces of heat shrink. I put it around the fiber optics first, and then heat shrink around the heat shrink, and then I used the green heat shrink over the LEDs and the fiber optics. And basically, I mean, that's really all there is to it other than the kit. Let me move my this out of the way so that I can show you what we've got here. Like I was saying, the hot glue really holds these ends in place. If you don't hold those ends, just a tiny little touch or tug, and none of those lights in that circuit will light up. And if you glue this thing together and they don't light up, you might be able to go through, the end of it and fix it that way, but the chances are pretty slim. So here's a little better view of what I did. You can kind of see where I hot glued all of that in. I did the same thing with all of the lights in the saucer and the lights in the nacelles, the ones in the background. I hot glued all of that also. So far it's been a really good kit. Seems to be very well engineered. This is the circuit board. You have one like this in the saucer section, and then you have this one that will eventually slide up into these little channels. There's little channels right up in here. It'll just slide right in and hold all of the electronics, so that when I button up my main hull and paint it, all my wires will be hanging out the center. I'll make all of my connections. I'll slide the board in there. Then I'll worry about putting the dish on the front. But so far it's been, like I said, an interesting ride. I did take, because this will be mounted, if you look at some of my previous videos, the assembly that I'm going to build, this will be mounted on a rod. I'll show you my other one, how it mounts. It will be mounted on a rod similar to this. Now this one I've just got temporarily glued because it's going to go on my assembly also. Give you a little bit of, see if you can see the little people I got up in there and the trees that I made. This is one of the ones that will go on there, but I have another kit because this was the first one I did in a long time. It's got the impulse drive and the warp. I did the delay on the changing of the colors. Same thing back here with the impulse drive. It changes colors. This was my first model in many, many years. But you'll see around some of these windows, I got a lot of cracking because the paint was way too thick. And basically, I really was a novice at that point. But so I'm going to rebuild this one. And I love this plaque. I got this from Laser Fire Productions, who now says that they're not making anything custom. So I'm in the process of trying to secure a laser. Let me turn this off, so that I can possibly do those plaques myself and maybe offer those on the internet also. Anyway, I was going to, I was telling you about this. This is called an aviation connector. I got it off of the internet. It's real simple. It just kind of plugs in. It's a very secure connection. This will be mounted on an assembly, and I believe I know how I'm going to, here, let me get this picture. It's kind of been written upon and drawn upon, but this is the assembly that I'm going to build. And I've kind of got an idea how I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to have a square wood base because I'm going to end up putting this all in a inside of a plexiglass case. But each one of these joints, I believe I'm going to take 1.5 inch pipe, and I'll take another piece of 1.5 inch, and then this little bend that I'm making right here, I'll bring out like this. I'm doing this while I'm watching through the camera, so it's kind of difficult. And then I've got these, they're automotive like hood shocks. They look like hydraulics. I'll probably make 2 little mounting places and then make these little hood shocks like that. And it'll look like hydraulic robotic arms. At least this is my plan. And then see, I can put another contact here and another hydraulic cylinder right there. And I'll do that. The other branch will come off. And I'll try to do the same thing. I'll look at it and see. I'll play with it. I don't know that I'll do that, but it'll look something like that where you have robotic arms off to the side over here. I'll have to somehow bring out a little control box with my switches. But all that's academic. once I get this close to being finished and buttoned up, I'll do another video and I'll kind of show you. But I don't have, because if you look, what comes with the model is this base right here. That's what comes with it. Now I'm not going to be able to use that base, of course, because of that tube and because of that connector. So I'm not really going to have a stand for this model until I get that base somewhat built. So probably right when I'll get the main engineering hall put together, and I'll get it painted, and I'll probably start working on the decals. But somewhere before I assemble this whole thing, all of the sub-assemblies together, I'm probably going to stop, and then I'm going to start working on this stand. And I'll do a video on just the stand alone, because I've only got the series version. You can see over here I've got the NX01, and it's complete with lighting. And then, like I said, I've got the 1701, and I'm going to make the 1701A, which is at there. And before I'm finished, I've got the D, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine also. That will all go on that little assembly, just like that. One big stand. So anyway, that's all that I have for today. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what I was doing. I'll give you a little close-up on this circuit. I bought the original one on Electronics Gold Mine. It's just a sequential flasher. I used hot glue to kind of seal all of that in. I was afraid of putting all those wires in there and shorting them together, so I hot glued everything, the surface of everything. Makes it good and sturdy. And there's the one that I have installed. And it's a little tricky. Problem I had when I did my 1701A, my 1701 movie version, as I was doing some of this on the bridge, I had inside of the captain's lounge, I had lights in there. These, because I was pulling and yanking and tugging, I actually installed them before I was ready. Those little filaments broke. And then, of course, I didn't have my fiber optics. This one I've been able to not break so far. I kind of stuck them all up in there and hot glued them in place so that they wouldn't be so tender right where they go up through the landing pad, if you will. Anyway, that's all that I have to show you on this installment. I'll keep on going. Just stay tuned. And it's really encouraging if you guys, when you guys subscribe and leave me messages. I've had a couple guys, leave me little messages. It's inspiring, keeps me going. I also have 3 children and maintain the family business. So I don't have a great deal of time. However, the more, and I also wrote a book and starting on another one. So the book is called Sacrifice, Surviving the Cut. It's mainly geared toward Christians, but if anybody's had any issues with church, I suggest you get the book and read it, and it kind of gives you an understanding of how it is that some Christians can be so mean when plainly we're not supposed to be. But anyway, if you guys subscribe and leave me notes, it really encourages me to spend a little more time doing this so I can do more videos. I really enjoy doing the videos, and it's appreciated. I appreciate it when people let me know they've seen it. So anyway, that'll be all for this installment. We'll see you next time. Thanks, and have a good day.